Yeah, of course. But I mean, I came in to make sure that our city was in a better position to make progress for our city. Whenever you're making tough decisions, you got to realize I've led this city through 3 crises, right? The pandemic, the economic crisis that followed, the civil unrest and demonstrations in our streets. I've led the city through 3 crises at a minimum, not even to mention the environmental stuff. When making tough decisions, you're going to make some people mad. You're going to have some people that are disappointed that don't understand the nuances of this job. So I hear that, but what we're focusing on are the people that do understand our vision and do see the progress in this city, the progress that we made along economic development fronts. Remember 4 years ago, Aaron, we had a higher unemployment rate, and we didn't have as many jobs available. Now we can say we're one of the most growing economies in the state of Louisiana. If you want a job these days, if you want a good paying job, you can get it. Public safety wise, yeah, we know we dealt what we dealt with during the pandemic, but those numbers are trending down already this year, and that's not happening across the country. So we got a lot of things that we can hang our hat on. So I get the disappointment, but I also talk to a lot of citizens every day that say that they're happy with our leadership and that we're doing a great job of what we have.
So after 3.5 years, you're looking now to have another 4 years. Looking back on your accomplishments from the past 3.5 years, what are you most proud of? And if you're reelected, what are your priorities going to be for the next 4 years?
Yeah, I got to tell you, the thing that we're most proud of is how fiscally responsible we've been. My first year in office, the city had a negative $1.2 million reserve. That's not a reserve at all. So all those ideas that I came in talking about, Aaron, we didn't realize that we were in a hole, and you need resources to implement public safety ideas, economic development ideas, technology ideas, and we brought that reserve up to $40+ million in just 3 years. And we're expected to bring that up even higher once we get some additional federal funds. So That's the thing I'm most proud about. It's a fiscal thing, but realize money is the way that we actually improve this city and we make this city stronger. So that's what I'm most proud about from the administration.
Okay, I'm going to call hooey on that. And you got 48, I'm looking at labudget.org. Shreveport got $48 million in ARP money. That's not you creating that reserve. That's federal money. It seems kind of disingenuous.
Aaron, I knew you would call hooey on that, but let's go back to year number 2 before we got any federal funds. We had already got the reserve up to $16 million. The reason why our reserve isn't higher is because as we've gotten federal funds, we've gone into the community and asked them how did they want us to invest it. So we could have saved even more money, but we're not a corporation. We're not in the business of saving. We've made sure that with those federal funds, we've been responsible enough to have a great reserve, and we're able to very deliberately make these investments. We weren't able to do that 3 years ago or 4 years ago, Aaron.
But you'll also admit and acknowledge that much of the reserve comes from federal infusion, and the money that you put in the reserve came from because you were 130 police officers short. You were short-staffed in many of the departments, and that's not your fault. That's not true,
Aaron. That's not true, Aaron. If you look at the amount of money that we saved on a reserve, being down in officers has helped, but that's not even a majority of the revenue that we brought in. Our economic development, everything that's going on in the city, for the last 4 quarters before the last quarter, we broke city revenue records, Aaron. That's how we're building our reserve. So for anybody out there that's saying, they're only built up the reserve because federal funds, that's disingenuous.
Okay, you win re-election. Can you promise? Can you promise today you will not seek another office during those 4 years?
Yes, and I actually answered a question about that yesterday. I'm solely focused on the mayor's office, and for the next 4 years, I'll be serving the citizens of Shreveport as their mayor.
The latest, you called the insurance debacle from Jump. You yourself called it. You stubbed your toe. Did you stub your toe on the swimming pool problem?
No, and that swimming pool problem, we have gotten it all ironed out. We got to realize, and I'm glad you brought that up. We do dozens of RFPs in a month. Something that's that low down in our SPAR department, I had no visibility about it until you guys start reporting it and saying, I knew this person, and I found out that afternoon. So as RFPs are going out and being conducted in our departments, it's up to those department leadership to get it right. Yeah, they stumbled a little bit, but we got it right. We're going to open up pools for our people. and a local company got it. So, what's the stubbing toe thing at the end?
But if the local
created a lot of chatter.
If the local company has been running it for the past 13 years, why was there all of a sudden RFP sent out? What instigated the change or the attempted change?
What instigated? Yeah, I'm glad. That's a great question as well. And, we've elaborated. It was a law change that said that had to be competitively bid. And that law changed in 2019, I believe, or maybe 2016. I'll get you the exact date. We didn't get to during that bidding process until this year. So this was the first year that it had to be competitively bid. And in that process, the board, when evaluating companies, they said that there was a company out of Atlanta that provided a better service. Now, since we've gone back and we figured out the company out of Atlanta was providing a better service at a higher price, which made them non-responsive to the bid. So that was how that occurred. But, yeah, we got to make a competitive process. We got to be consistent with the law.
I shot a video.
So there's no stubbing the toe whenever you're being more consistent with the law. That's the way that things got to go. It might not be as pretty as people want it to be, but at the end of the day, our kids will be able to learn how to swim and be swimming in city pools this summer.
Are they opening Tuesday?
I will confirm that today. I hope so. That's what I was told yesterday.
Okay.
I was told yesterday by staff that they will be open on Tuesday.
Getting texts that the reserve is attributed, a lot of it is attributed to the trash fee, the $7 trash fee that was implemented. Agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, that is a part of how we built up the reserve. We no longer had to supplement our public works enterprise fund with as many millions of dollars as we did because of trash fee. So that helped. And I know, Aaron, you gave me plenty of responsibility for that. You guys were great at saying this was my initiative on putting that trash fee in place.
Okay, well, speaking of trash fee, let me take that another step. Tell me about recycling. How is a company that has never had any experience in waste management, has no equipment, no trucks, how were they awarded a recycling contract, and where are we on that? We still have no recycling in the city of Shreveport.
So that was another committee put together with council members on that committee that ranked that service number one out of who all applied, and then the city council actually voted on it. So you would have to, talk to city. You have to talk to the members on that board and city council members that voted for that vendor to be there. Right now, where we are, there'll be some legislation at the next council meeting about that particular project. So city council will be elaborating on that in a couple of days. In
getting cameras out into our city, there's been a lot of discussion about why are we so delayed on putting those, I believe it's 90 cameras that we're going to install around the city. What's the status of that, Mayor?
Yeah, the status is we're working through that right now, but I want to clear something up. We have over 500, our real-time crime center has access to over 500 cameras as of now. They aren't the ones that we personally put up, but those cameras are still able to assist our officers in any, crazy situations that we have. So
is that the ring camera? Is that the ring camera program?
It's multiple. It's the ring camera program. It's private businesses, you name it. So we still have access to over 500 as of today. So by the end of the year, we're hoping to have anywhere from 600 to 700, and many of those that we'll place ourselves. So, again, that program is being successful, and it's another tool for Shreveport Police Department to use in keeping our community safe. So that's not a bad thing.
Let me give you a chance to help me understand something. I know you have to be concerned. You implemented along with the council's help a 13% across the board pay raise. There has to be a little bit of concern about that with regard to the longevity of maintaining that. Do you have a worry about that today? Because obviously today we're fine, but 5-10 years down the road, is that an issue that you need to keep a close eye on?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an issue that I'm going to have to keep a close eye on and administrations to come. But it was a necessary pay raise when you consider the fact that our employees hadn't gotten raises, a raise like that in decades. And we got to compete in the same labor market that these private businesses have to compete in. So for retention as well, that's why we did it. But I point back to our reserve, and I point back to the funding that we have, and I point back to the fact that we're breaking revenue records. We have the money to sustain it. I wouldn't have put a bomb in place for future administrations to come in like the ones that I inherited. No administration should come in and have negative $1.2 million. So we're making progress on that. But it was a necessary thing, and our city employees were happy with it, and they deserve it. They worked their butts off.